Okay, I can start. Okay. Good evening, my Toastmasters friends. Today I'm going to speak with you about my flight to Iceland, which was in fact my last flight. That happened some 2 months ago, maybe even less than that. Iceland is a unique place, very unique in terms of climate, in terms of sites, in terms of volcanic activity, no geysers, things like that. But it is also unique in that Iceland is the most expensive country in Europe, but maybe all over the world. Iceland is also very unique in terms of flights from Israel to Iceland. There are no direct flights from Israel to Iceland, and the indirect flights are very bad and very expensive. For example, I paid for my flight a bit less than 800 American dollars. As far as I remember, I already flew to New York and maybe to Los Angeles for less than that. On my way to Iceland and back, I had 4 stops, 2 in the direction of Iceland and 2 back to Israel. My first stops were in Poland. Poland is the only country in the world in which you can freely communicate in Polish. I like that because I speak Polish. So my first stop was in the airport of Warsaw. The stop took about 4 hours. In the Frederick Chopin Airport in Warsaw, a new airport, very modern, beautiful airport with a lot of shops, lot of duty-free shops, lot of restaurants. By the way, the duty-free shop in Warsaw is much cheaper than the duty-free shop here in Israel. It's about 50% cheaper. So it's recommended for you to go to Warsaw to buy. I see that, yeah. And if you are buying something in the airport of Warsaw, I recommend to buy something that is called in Polish ptasie mleczko. Ptasie mleczko, if you are translating into English, it's bird's milk. Bird, yes, milk. This is the name of the chocolates. But if you are buying the ptasie mleczko, buy it from the brand Wedel. Wedel. This is the original. There are many other places that are producing ptasie mleczko, even in Russia. These are just cheap copies. The original is from Wedel. Write it down. Write it down. Wedel with double V's, not with V. It's very important not to make this mistake. Great. With double V's. Double V's, Wedel. It's very important. Well, from Warsaw I flew to other Polish city, Katowice. In Katowice I had a stop of 7 long hours. The airport of Katowice is not the same as in Warsaw. It looks like the airports during the communist times, which means it is I would say, not big, not too big. It is ugly, and it is crowded. A bit small, yes, I would say. So the first thing I did when reaching the airport of Katowice, I stood on a line to hand over my luggage. I stood on that line about an hour until I reached the counter, and on the counter the kind steward told me that this line is for people who are flying to Tenerife. If you want to fly to Iceland, you have to take another line, but he could not tell me when and where that line will be. But I had a lot of time, so I didn't know what to do with myself. Well, I could stand on the line to Mykonos, but I decided to be a little bit more creative, so I found some bench. I sit a few minutes on the bench, then I stood up, walk a few minutes, find another bench. I sat on the other bench, stood, walked for a few minutes, and so on, until from the distance I could see a restaurant. And I didn't tell you, but in the airport of Katowice, there are almost no shops and almost not restaurants. So to see a restaurant in that place was something special. And what I saw in the restaurant, a big sign with the name Pierogi. Pierogi. Pierogi is my favorite dish. And pierogi, if you want to eat really good pierogi, it's only in Poland. Here in Israel, they are calling the same dish krepalach. But if you really want to eat good pierogi, only in Poland. So I rushed to that restaurant, I took a table, and I sat down. And when the waiter came, I told her that I want a plate with pierogi. So the waiter told me, okay, but we do not have the cheese pierogi. We only have meat pierogi. Okay. Well, my favorite pierogi are meat pierogi. So I said to the waiter, that's great. After some time, I got a plate full with pierogi. Well, it was so good. It was delicious. Well, guys, what I can tell you that I hate the airport of Katowice, but I will come back to there again and again, only because of the pierogi. It was really delicious. Okay, from Katowice, I flew to Iceland. In Iceland, I participated in the World Congress of People Who Stutter. I met there a lot of people. I met a lot of old friends. I made a lot of new friends. I had many lectures, many ceremonies. On one of the ceremonies, we also had the president of Iceland, which is a big honor. But this speech is devoted only for the flights, not for the Congress itself. So after a few days of the Congress, I began my journey back to Israel. My first stop was in London Heathrow Airport. In Heathrow Airport, I spent something like 5 hours. Heathrow Airport is a nice airport with a lot of shops, a lot of restaurants, duty-free shops. So I had a lot of time to hang around the shops. I also had a good meal somewhere in one of the restaurants, and after some time I started to feel tired, which is quite normal in such a place like Heathrow Airport. So I sat down somewhere and started to play with my phone. But phones have the tendency that the battery starts to drain out when are you using that phone. So what to do in such a case? You have to charge your phone. Now, what is beautiful in the Heathrow Airport in London, that you have sockets almost in every corner in which you can charge your phone. The only problem is that in order to charge your phone, you need a British plug. But somehow I do not have the British plug, so I could not charge my phone. I saw a few Indian guys that could charge their phone, so if you want to charge your phone in London, you must be an Indian. This is how it is. Well, in London, I really understand the spirit of the Brexit. You know, I could not understand why the British are I want to separate from the other European countries. In London, I understood, because the main reason of the Brexit is the British flag. Because if the British would stay united with the European countries, at some point they would be obliged to change their flag into the European one. But they want to keep their British stupid flag, so the Brexit is simply a must. Well, from London I flew to Vienna. I was really happy to fly to Vienna Airport, because I knew that in Vienna they have European sockets, so I will be able to charge my phone in Vienna. And Vienna, in Austria, is a city of strudel, of schnitzel, so it's going to be a good stay in Vienna. So I flew to Vienna. I reached Vienna at 10 p.m. and I took off from Vienna at 6 a.m., which means I spent in Vienna 8 long hours during the night. So the first time I did, when I reached the airport of Vienna, I charged my phone, and this is the best thing I did in Vienna. During the night, everything in the Vienna airport is closed. Everything, all the shops, all the restaurants, no schnitzel, no strudel. In Vienna, in the airport of Vienna, you have such a huge walkway, very long walkways. On the both sides, you have the shops, at least 3 store of shops. Everything was closed. And in the middle of the walkway, you have benches, a lot of benches, so people can sit on the benches. Together with me in the Vienna airport were a lot of people, I would say thousands, maybe millions, many people. Part of them were sitting on the benches, and part of them, like me, were looking for a place to sit. Because what do you have to do in the airport of Vienna in the night, just to sit somewhere and to sleep and take a sleep. There was nothing to do in the Vienna airport. So I was walking and was looking for a place to sit and to take a nap. Somehow, somewhere, I found some place to squeeze myself into, to sit and to take a nap. I was sitting and tried to sleep a little bit, but after some time, I felt that I needed to use my handkerchief. That happens. But I could not grab my handkerchief from my pocket because I was squeezed from both sides. So I stood up. I took my handkerchief from the pocket. I used it, put it back to my pocket, and sat down back on my seat. And then I realized that I am sitting on top of a Danish lady. So I stood up and I tell her all I wanted is to stand and to use my handkerchief. Well, she said, "Oh, sorry, I just wanted, I told you already want to go." I have to tell you. That night in the Vienna airport was a nightmare. After that stay in Vienna, and after that dialogue that I have with this nice Danish lady, when I reached Ben Gurion Airport in Israel, I felt an urge to fall down, to kiss the holy soil of the land of Israel, and to say, Shehecheyanu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Benny. Very inspiring speech. Now I will need to take a taste crepe à la